the PDP is right now on the throes of death because it committed a mortal sin in 2023. And that sin was not zoning its presidential candidacy to the South. I had warned that the wind of presidency in 2023 was blowing south. And if the PDP feeds a northern candidate, it means it to be sailing against the wind. And if you do that, you are likely to risk your boat capsizing and sinking into oblivion. And that seems to be what's happening in PDP. The gale of defecation you are saying is just a symptom of a deeper ailment. You see, when the PDP violated the zoning arrangement, it created a problem for the PDP because the PDP's strongest support base, the most consistent support base for the PDP has been the southern half of Nigeria. The southeast, the south-south, and of course, the areas in the north you call the middle belt. They've been the most consistent support base of the PDP. And so when this group came out to say, look, we want the presidency in 2023, and the APC too bowed to that pressure. You could see the concerted effort within the APC to shift power to the south. It reflected in the primary election, where the winner, the first runner-ups, and the second runner-up all came from the southern half of the country. So it showed you the effort that was also put in that party. But the PDP said it wanted to win an election. It wanted to take advantage of the electoral fortune of the North, which happens to be the largest voting demography in Nigeria. And we had wanted to say, look, PDP's priority for 2023 shouldn't be winning an election, but simply consolidating into the post-Buhari era. Because Buhari, as the sitting president, will look for his party to win one way or the other.
So
when PDP violated that zoning formula,
yes,
it betrayed his most consistent support base, which is the South. And with the emergence of a Southern president in the person of Ahmed Bola Tinubu, what you see happening now was what happened in 2003, when the southern part of the country is now coalescing around one of their own. And you know why this is important for us to understand? The 8-year rule of President Muhammadu Buhari was the most divisive in the history of Nigeria, the most sectional. Buhari instituted Arewa privilege in Nigeria that needed to be checked by power shift to the south. This was where the PDP didn't quite get it right. It was like a matter of do or die affair. Such levels of sectionalism has never seen before. He instituted Arewa privilege, and Nigeria was already on the road to Sudan, and understood that the last-ditch effort that could save this country was going to be a power shift to the south. If you recall, sir, it was at the Asaba Declaration where the southern governors met for the first time in more than a decade to take a decisive decision on the issues of open grazing and herdsmen crisis that was ravaging across the country. That point also was added to the resolution that power should shift to the south by 2023, meaning there was a connection between Buhari's mismanagement of our diversity, our national security, on the basis of ethno-regional sentiments and favoritism, and a desire for power shift to the south. And that was why the younger elements of the APC from the north clearly saw that for the south to have come together, the southeast, the south-south, and the southwest, at a time that the separatist agitation was raging so much in the southeast that it had a landfall even in the southwest. For the first time in the history of Nigeria, we had a serious secessionist movement in the southwest that was championed by Sunday Igboho, arising from the same herdsmen crisis. So there was a link between national security, diversity mismanagement, and the need to salvage whatever was left of national unity of the Nigerian state for power to shift to the south. And that was why younger elements in the APC, the likes of Governor Rufai, the likes of Kashim Shettima, the likes of Masari and others, knew that the North, as at that time, was not ready to be divorced from his southern spouse that was a lady of means. And so they knew that it was important to save what was left of the Nigerian national unity to shift power to the south. And that's why they made the effort within their own party to make that effort. Now the PDP, whose support base, interestingly, is in the south, failed to read the tea leaves properly and opted to take advantage of the northern demography and feed the northern candidates, which was opportunistic at the time. So I had also predicted that the PDP would lose in the north and lose in the south. So the north preferred candidate from the south, who happened to be Ahmed Bola Tinubu. My brother here talked about Peter Obi's foray into the election and how it also helped the emergence of President Bola Tinubu. Yes, that was part of the Southern agenda for power, which was legitimate because the presidency of Nigeria has rotated between North and South historically for as long as I can remember, even during the military era. There's always a balancing act because of the national unity that we all, work for since the end of the Civil War. But unfortunately, Atiku Abubakar came into the race. And there's a background to this, and I must establish the background. For me, Atiku's ambition actually killed the PDP. And Wike's anger, Wike's frustration is conducting the final rite of passage for the PDP. Well, because the bigger problem for the PDP is not even the defecting governors. More governors will defect. The APC will overrun the southern half of Nigeria. You can see that in Anambra, for instance, the PDP didn't even have a contest for its ticket. The biggest challenge for the PDP is not even the defection of governors. Let me tell you the biggest challenge, and I must say it because my brother is here. He's a member of the PDP. The PDP violation of zoning created a problem, a Wike problem. And Wike is a member of the PDP. So what PDP should worry most about is Wike still remaining in that party. You see, there's a problem going on in the party now about the national secretary of the party. You know what that will result into? There might be a prolonged legal conundrum that might see the PDP not having a candidate or candidates across the board for the next election. Or at best, having a very weak presidential candidate that cannot even raise a hat where Bola Tinubu of the APC is. Well, that is really death for the PDP. Since 1999, the zoning formula has been largely complied with. So between 1999 and 2007, you had a southern president. And when the president himself was leaving, Olusegun Obasanjo, he worked for a transfer of power to the north. And Umar Musa Yar'Adua emerged. And by 2010, unfortunately, we lost our president, may God rest his soul, and his deputy then, Goodluck Jonathan, assumed the mantle of leadership of Nigeria. And this is where I also must draw attention to how the PDP has severely and severally violated the zoning formula. Let me state it on record today too, that it was my opinion even then that President Goodluck Jonathan shouldn't have run in the 2011 election because it was still the turn of the north. And there was such a commitment to that zoning that the then party chairman, Vincent Obulapo, who was from the southeast, made an open declaration that no southerner should vie in the 2011 election because it was still the turn of the north. And guess what? The major beneficiary and the champion of the detention of zoning in 2011 was Atiku Abubakar, who ran against Jonathan. And that was the first time the PDP experienced a crack that would eventually lead to his defeat in 2015. People didn't pay attention. When Atiku ran against Jonathan, even though he lost, something phenomenal happened in that popular election that has not happened in Nigeria before. When an incumbent president will run against a challenger and lose a number of states, Atiku won 5 states from the north: Bauchi, Kano, Niger, Sokoto, and Zamfara. In that primary election, it was a statement of the anger, the frustration in the north against Jonathan's violation of the zoning formula in 2011. And when they couldn't get the ticket in PDP, the CPC was put together hurriedly, and the Muhammadu Buhari ran on the platform of CPC and garnered 12.5 million votes. And by 2015, southern elements came together to say, yes, indeed, it's a return of the north. Again, to preserve our national unity, the Tinubus of this world, the Ametis of this world, and others came together and supported Buhari to become president, who was the choice of the north. In 2023, faithfully, the northerners that benefited from that benevolence of their southern compatriots decided to repay, and that's why Tinubu emerged first at the powers of the APC and became president today. But the PDP again, like he did in 2011 and 2015, decided to repeat the same mistake in 2023, when the same Atiku, who had protested against the violation of zoning by Goodluck Jonathan in 2011 and 2015, when he led 5 governors out of the PDP into the APC, decided to violate the zoning himself. So for me, he's the cause of this problem. And let me put it in context. In 2019, the PDP decided that the reason they lost the 2015 election was because they violated zoning. And so they set up a committee that was chaired by Ekorebadu, the former deputy senate president. And they reached an agreement that 2019 election should be an all-northern affair. And that was why no southern appeal the presidential form in the PDP to contest the 2019 presidential election. And so somebody like Wike supported Tambua with all his might, while Peter Obi and his Southeast people supported Atiku to emerge. And that election, Atiku gave a very good performance. In fact, a lot of people still believe that Atiku won the election, but was rigged out. He came close. That was the kind of performance he put up. I had expected by 2023, Atiku Abubakar would have supported the Southerner, like a Peter Obi, who supported him in the previous election, while Tambua should have supported Wike. And let us see will emerge from the South among these two. But unfortunately, Atiku came into the ring to struggle with Peter Obi, Wike and co. And Tambua ended up, you see, Tambua is a northerner, a Hausa-speaking northerner and a Muslim from the same north to Atiku, stepped down for Atiku against Wike, the lone southerner in the race. If you were Wike, would you not feel betrayed after the support you gave to both of these candidates in 2019? PDP governors, their preferred candidate for the next election is President Bola Tinubu of the APC because of Southern solidarity. The bulk of the governors in the PDP are from the South. One of their own is in power. They can work against one of their own. It's not possible. In 2003, AD didn't feel the presidential candidate because of Obasanjo. That is the nature of Nigerian politics. When Adu also became president in 2007, a number of AMPP governors then moved into the PDP. So married his daughters. Two governors actually married his daughters to have a good footing in the PDP. It has always been like that. Now, talking about the coalition, it is still too early to predict what the outcome of that coalition will be. But I can give them some tips. Okay. You see, El-Rufai has a grouse against the president, a legitimate grouse, because he worked for the president. Hate him or love him, he has a basis to be angry. And he has been working assiduously to undermine the president, particularly in the Muslim North, where he's like the Khalifa to Buhari, he's like the brain box of the Muslim North. But let me give him a tip. If he really wants to see the back of the president, let me tell you for what he will do. And I think they may be on the path to really achieving that. Let El-Rufai convince the Muslim North. If he's able to do that, I know he can, he has the capacity, to look towards the South for a candidate to support, specifically the Southeast. If I let me put it straight, the day El-Rufai decides and is able to galvanize the opinion molders in the North to zero down on a P2B, for instance, as the candidate, that will be the end of the Tinubu administration.
Is there any opposition to challenge that?
Of course, of course. There's Peter Obi now. No, let me tell you something. The president contested with how many governors? There were governor in Abia. There were APC governor in Enugu, in Ebonyi. They lost Husley. There were APC governor in the Southwest. In Lagos, he lost. So it's not the whole system of plain politics has died.
Because the analysis of political analysis is that the way and manner that opposition has composed and coordinated themselves, there is no way that is a express way for Tinubu to get a re-election in 2027.
I'm trying to.
There is no opposition.
Let me give you statistics. No matter how coordinated the opposition is, APC is more in panic mode. That endorsement of the president was all about panicking. You can't tell me you contested with a man who don't have political structure, no entrenchment of power in any way backing him. And in the South, entire South, he scored 44.5%. Tinubu scored 35.5%. When we came to the North, OBC scored a large chunk of the vote with 50.2%. So you can't have a man who has scored 25% in 16 states and 50% in 7 states. And you say that you are good. And these are organic votes. These are not votes that were controlled by money. These are not votes that were controlled by people, oligarchs, or by party entrenched leaders or elected officers who bring out money and say, go and vote for my candidate. No, Nigeria decided. So I think the opposition, no matter how uncoordinated they are, if they get the answer right, if they put up their best best candidate forward, well, like a lie, I'm telling you that APC, we have nowhere to hide. They will not even see the last vote they got, they won't see it in the 2027 election because the performance is bad. There's so much hunger in the street. Look, check the prices of the goods. Look at our GDP has fallen from 300 something billion to 188 billion. So we have a problem that we need to be able to sit down and see government that is, interested and committed to making sure that the life of Nigeria has positive effect. And the Nigerian worker, look at us. They're not getting any money. They're opening all sort of new agencies for 100 billion, putting Yakubu Dura. We can't have favoritism in government. We can't have government that want to just solely be able to, put people who are supposed to be their structure in place.
Chief Ahmed, we need to close. So, in closing, in assessing this government, so the poor is being failed, the middle being passed, the higher point being good. How would you say this government has performed? Highest been 10, lowest been 1.
Let's give them 1 as well. Let's give them 1 for now. I'll see what they're doing in the next 2 years.
1 out of 10
yes.
in 2 years.
People are suffering.
They cannot get promoted into the next class.
The price of goods is passed. They can't get promoted.
So this government has failed as far as you're concerned?
As far as many Nigerians are concerned. You can do voice properly. Go to the street, carry microphone and ask Nigerians. It's not me.
President Bola Tinubu, you have heard. That is the assessment of Chief Peter John Ame, 2019 presidential candidate and the former national chairman of the Interparty Advisory Council. Thanks so much indeed.
Thank you for having me.
Although the yacht that you mentioned...
Stopping corruption is yourself. If you're not involved, your wife is not involved, your family is not involved, those around you are not involved, you reduce it by over 50%. And that's what I'm going to do. And I'm sure, Paul, you know that. We are committed. We can't disappoint these youths. We must build a new Nigeria. And we'll deal with that. Investors will come back. Those who left, even the young people who are today living, they'll come back. We want to bring them back. Nigerians are prepared to come back if they can find that they have a country to go back to. This green passport, people must be proud to use it.
My brother, just imagine this fight between Trump and Elon Musk. Imagine saying in Africa, Elon Musk, they tell Trump, say, Mr. Trump, if say no be me, you know if you win election. Now so in talk, say if no say no be me, you know if you win election, and you are ungrateful. Elon Musk telling Donald Trump, say you are ungrateful. Now let us pretend we are in Nigeria. Make Dangote talk, say Tinubu na me make you president, and you are ungrateful. My brother, wetin go happen to Dangote cement? Dangote cement will turn to beach sand instantly. Dangote refinery will turn to borehole. Dangote sugar, it go turn to bitter cola. In Africa, you fit talk, but there is freedom of speech, but there is no freedom after speech. If you try and parent in Africa, they talk like that, then go make your billions turn to kobo. Ordinary me, ordinary Wike we fight AIT, in close AIT down, in go knock their building down for Port Harcourt. Say, you they talk to me like that? I been at me, you won't compare the time where they abuse Governor Seyi Makinde, where I abuse him. When he talk to me for phone, say, Isaac, I know where your hotel day for Ibadan. I for don't collect and I just pity you. Now, care, sharp, I put that hotel for market, sell land, banjo, sharp. For him to talk that kind of thing alone, because I abuse him. Myself, I know, say my hotel, no, they say. Even as I they talk to Wike, some people go to tell me they play with your properties for Abuja. In Africa, freedom of speech no day easy like that. Oh. Now only Yankee this kind of thing fit happen. Elon Musk say Donald Trump, the #1 president in the world, say you are ungrateful. And you still dey trade, you still dey run business for in country. My brother, I don't know when we are going to get there in Africa, when you will be able to talk your mind and nobody will chance you or take advantage of that and say, I'm the president, they talk anyhow. Imagine, just imagine he said Dangote, they talk to Tinubu like that. He said, Mr. President, you're ungrateful. You and I know waiting in how you go see. Freedom of speech in Africa, there is no freedom after speech.
I'm sure most of you have seen this news. Bad people go do like say they're not seen, but I'm sure you have seen it. The Mongolian Prime Minister had to resign because of his son. For those that don't know what's going on, the Mongolian Prime Minister, just the way we get president, the Prime Minister for Mongolia, he Peking can't go they flaunt Dior bag for Instagram, for social media, flaunt luxury engagements to his fiancée. The people protested. Why? The president, the prime minister had to resign because that was the people's wish. Can't do one for Nigeria now. Wicked children that day they flaunt they flaunt for social media. You go their comment section, as we get Nigerians, they say so now I'm on they live this lifestyle. We have other Nigerians there saying what's it concern? Who say your papa make it not go become politician? Who told you to have a useless father? As you they fight, Nigerians go they fight you. Oh, they say make cannot the cussing. Who down? Somebody said Tinubu attends more political function than Shetima, the vice president. And not be like, how many times you don't see Shetima? Nigeria, you're the upside down. Except God help us, we can't. Because even when we decide to help ourselves, amongst us, saboteurs and snitches will ruin our efforts. Either because of tribe, or religion, or political party sentiments. I be APC, I be PDP. Wanna see una meet for there. The people came out en mass in unity to protest, and the prime minister had to resign because of his son's luxury lifestyle that they saw. And one day they put up our face. God, it's okay. Before I talk, the one that family comes. The Amumu supporters know how to see you. Just come down for comment section just now. You'll see what's your business.